Now it's all about The Last of Us. We have been to the E3 conference in Los Angeles and we met some of the developers from the game The Last of Us.
We're feeling really good. We were working really hard up to this, so we're glad that people are enjoying it.
In the game, you see this main character and a little younger girl. She seems to only have seen this world. Is she born into this mayhem?
Yes, absolutely. Joel is the main character that you play as, and he has seen the outbreak, and he's lived through it, basically seen everyone he loved and cared about died, and he's had to become a survivor, cross all these moral lines in order just to survive. But Ellie is only 14 years old, and she's grown up during this whole post-outbreak world. She's grown up with no electricity, governments fallen, quarantine zones, and she's had to really just struggle to survive. So The Last of Us is about putting these two together and seeing how their two life experiences play off each other.
When we saw the demo, they kind of utilized that she's smaller and lighter and stuff like that. Is that something that'll go through the game in a lot of different ways?
Yes, absolutely. Joel and Ellie have many different ways to collaborate over the course of the game. And Ellie is very, very capable, of course. You know, she's not your average 14-year-old girl. She's had to grow up in a world that made her grow up very, very quickly. And so she's capable of protecting herself, and really you're going to find that she's completely indispensable as a tool to help you survive in this world. You know, as Joel and Ellie bond together emotionally, we want the player to also bond in gameplay and say, oh my god, when I don't have Ellie with me, it's really hard to survive. I'm so glad I have her here.
Will you be able to play as her at some point in the game?
No, you play as Joel. It's going to be entirely focused on the player playing as Joel, and we've been working a lot on Ellie's AI so that she really feels like another human playing with you.
In the game, there's a lot of different things that you need to be aware of. There's the whole infected, if we can call them that, guys, and then there's also just regular guys fighting for survival. How will that play out?
Well, for us, humans are more interesting than monsters. You know, the monsters are there in order to create this devastated world and this pressure on everyone else. You know, how do humans react when they become the prey, you know? But for us, it's much more about all the different human beings and different factions of humans, and how do different people with different personalities relate to living in this harsh world. So in the demo that we showed, you've seen the faction that we call the Hunters. These are people who lure other survivors into their city, ambush them, kill them, and take their supplies. But you'll also meet other survivors who are trying to rebuild societies, you know, maybe planting crops and getting power plants back online, and you'll see all these different dynamics between different types of people surviving in this harsh world.
In previous Naughty Dog games, we've seen that the game is extremely beautiful, and also in that sense becomes kind of linear because there's so much stuff going on. Is that the same here? Will it be a kind of linear experience?
Well, what we're discussing is we're calling this a wide linear game. The narrative is linear. They're what we call pinch points, where every player will experience this same one story moment. But then from there, it broadens out so that there are a wide variety of different experiences that players can have, different strategies that they can employ. You know, what we saw on stage was players going in guns blazing and just taking everyone out quickly. But you could have actually stealth past all of those enemies. And we have a scavenging system where you're looking for supplies, and you have to make this choice. You know, do you take the risk on of going into battle, knowing that maybe you'll be able to kill some people, take things off their bodies? They're also going through drawers and stuff, searching for supplies. They're trying to survive as well. If you take too long or somebody gets something before you, you know, they'll get a supply that maybe you needed. So there's a risk in going into battle, but there's this reward of getting the things out of it. So you can decide to go into battle or completely avoid it if you want to. And also with our crafting system, the supplies that you get can be used for offense or defense. You saw on stage we made a Molotov cocktail, but those same supplies, binding and some alcohol, can be used to make a health kit. So every player will have different experiences when playing this game. That's what we mean by wide linear.
Do you have any plans or hopes for maybe some co-op DLC in the future?
Well, we are going to be pursuing multiplayer, but the campaign will not be co-op, and we're not discussing exactly what we're doing with multiplayer right now.
As you probably know, this is an exclusive for PlayStation, so leave us a comment, tell us what you think, like it, or subscribe. just down below. See you later.